I never imagined my life would come to this moment, standing at the edge of my marriage, watching everything I'd endured crumble in an instant. Celia and I had just finished an intimate evening. Her cheek rested softly on my chest, her breathing steady and warm. Lately, our relationship had taken a strange, almost desperate passion. But I didn't expect what came next. Without warning, she lifted her head, her expression unreadable, and quietly said, "I've been seeing someone else." Froze. No hesitation, no confusion, just cold certainty rising inside me. I sat up and swung my legs off the bed, already reaching for my clothes. "So, you want a divorce?" Celia didn't move. She remained in bed, bare and unashamed, her eyes following me across the room as I began gathering my things. "I was hoping we could talk it through," she said, her voice strangely calm. "Can't we at least have a real conversation, Erin?" I ignored her. I grabbed a suitcase from the closet and began packing enough clothes for several days. My toothbrush, my razor, everything essential. "I'm calling a lawyer in the morning," I said without emotion. "You should probably do the same." "Forget it," she muttered, her voice turning dismissive. "Let's just pretend I didn't say anything. Come back to bed." That sparked something in me. Anger, betrayal, disgust. I turned and stared at her, unable to believe the audacity. "No, Celia. After everything we've been through, after everything I went through for you, this is what you bring into our home. I'm done." And I left. 2 years earlier, Celia had been diagnosed with cervical cancer. She was barely 26 when doctors performed the hysterectomy, stripping away her ability to have children. Chemotherapy took her hair, her strength, and sent her into violent hormonal chaos. She wasn't the same woman anymore. Unpredictable, volatile, at times downright cruel. But I stayed. The first year was unbearable. Screaming matches, weeks of cold silence, emotional swings that felt like living with 3 different people. Therapy was the only thing that kept me sane. My therapist told me bluntly. Her world had been destroyed. She was drowning in grief, rage, and fear, and every outburst was her way of testing me, pushing to see if I'd finally abandon her like everything else in her life had. And yes, walking away had crossed my mind more than once. But I couldn't stomach being the man who left his sick wife. Everyone would call me heartless. And deep down I didn't want to be that man. That night, I checked into a run-down motel across town. I emailed my boss and supervisor, letting them know I needed time for personal matters. My boss had been more than understanding through Celia's illness. Celia's messages started pouring in that same night. Dozens of them, each one sounding like it was from a different person. One text claimed she only confessed about the other man to see if I still loved her, since she couldn't bear children. Another asked why I was so close-minded about an open marriage. Some were tearful apologies, others dripping with anger and blame. But I couldn't stop wondering. Even if she begged to end the affair, how could I ever trust her again? And worse, had our recent intimacy only been so intense because she'd been fantasizing about him all along? By Monday, I was sitting in a lawyer's office, starting the paperwork. I closed our joint accounts and opened one in my name. She earned more than I did anyway, and we didn't own much, just a modest apartment we'd rented during her recovery. That night, I texted her the name of my attorney and the financial details. Her reply: pure venom. "Well, look at you, Erin. Finally growing a spine. Feel like a big man now. Stop throwing a tantrum. Come home. I already forgave you." She actually believed that would work. I typed and erased countless replies. One almost said, "Now I can find someone who'll give me the family you never could." But I knew that was too cruel. Instead, I sent the truth. "After everything I did to prove I loved you, after all we endured, your words shattered something inside me. I'm done. From this moment on, all communication goes through our lawyers. I'm blocking your number." The next morning, my assistant Maureen called me. She'd worked with me for years, sharp-tongued and fiercely protective. "Erin," she said, "guess who just barged into your office while I was in the restroom?" Celia. By the time Maureen returned, Celia was in my chair, looking unhinged. I explained everything that had happened. Maureen surprised me. Honestly, she said, I'd have done exactly what you did. But Erin, this sounds like a full-blown mental health crisis. You should call her doctor. I'll handle her here. If she refuses to leave, I'll call the police myself. An hour later, Maureen called again. She left, she reported. But talking to her felt like dealing with 3 different people. First, she was sobbing, begging for you back, saying you were her rock during the cancer. Then she flipped, accused you of being some oppressive caveman who couldn't handle her exploring life. She rattled off nonsense psychology she probably read online, blaming your male ego for everything. Maureen paused, her voice uneasy. Erin, you need to let her doctor know. Called. Left a voicemail. The doctor finally returned my call but said there wasn't much he could tell me. Privacy laws and all that. He promised he'd try to get her in for an evaluation. All I could do was sit there, torn between heartbreak and fear. Later that week, Celia texted me again. She'd hired a lawyer and moved out, declaring the apartment full of bad energy, and telling me not to return either. My lawyer confirmed her legal team had reached out. Our divorce would be quick. A month later, Celia reached out asking for couples therapy. My lawyer advised me to at least appear willing. The first session felt like a bad play. She wept, apologized, spun a sob story about her cancer battle and my loyalty. She even reached for my hand. Reflexively, I let her take it, but alarms were going off in my head. By the next session, she'd transformed again. Now she was full of venom, accusing me of being a repressive Neanderthal, saying she deserved freedom after nearly dying. When the therapist asked for my thoughts, I finally snapped. I've sat here listening long enough, I said. Let's stop pretending we're saving anything here. Celia wants freedom. I'm not the one stopping her. The therapist asked if I'd compromise. I did, I replied. I stood by her, even when I knew I'd never have the family I wanted. That loyalty wasn't enough for her. Celia stormed out. The therapist chastised me for being insensitive, but I'd reached my limit. Soon after, I noticed a quiet woman named Elise appearing near my office more often. We'd crossed paths before. She worked in accounting. Recently divorced, soft-spoken and always polite. She seemed to time her coffee breaks with mine. We started chatting. With Celia's chaos looming over me, Elise's calm felt like breathing clean air. One lunch break, I asked Maureen about her. She smirked knowingly. She started showing up right after Celia's meltdown, Maureen said. She's been divorced about 6 months. And yes, she already knows about your split. Office gossip travels fast. She also knows about the whole open marriage mess. That surprised me. Only Maureen and I had discussed that. That night, I invited Elise to dinner. She was nervous but agreed. Halfway through the meal, she finally confessed. My ex-husband Marcus cheated on me, she said, her voice shaking. I had a private investigator track him. He installed spyware on his phone. I never deleted it. That's how I discovered your wife and Marcus were connected. I sat frozen as she explained. Marcus had relentlessly pursued Celia. They worked near each other. He showered her with compliments, her looks, her perfume, her smile. At first, Celia shut him down, citing her loyalty to me, especially after everything we endured together. But Marcus kept pushing, planting the seed of an open marriage. When Celia resisted, she texted him that she'd ruined everything, that I was filing for divorce. Marcus told her to start enjoying life, promising her excitement. Just days earlier, Celia had texted Marcus saying I was the only reason she survived cancer, that without me, nothing mattered. I was terrified to tell you, Elise admitted. But you deserve the truth. Her honesty shook me. I thanked her but explained that I wasn't ready for anything serious, not after Celia's betrayal. Elise smiled faintly, relieved. Then maybe, I said, we can just share dinner once in a while. I need something normal. She agreed. The following week, I sat in my car outside the therapist's office, debating whether to confront Celia about Marcus. That's when a sleek black Porsche pulled in. Celia stepped out, dressed provocatively, her blouse sheer, her skirt scandalously short. She adjusted herself, smiling seductively at the driver before strutting inside. I already knew who drove that car. Inside, the therapist's eyes widened at Celia's revealing outfit. "I had a realization," Celia announced. "Why do I need a husband? I'm beautiful, wealthy, desired. Men throw themselves at me. Why settle?" When the therapist tried to intervene, Celia ripped open her blouse, sending buttons flying. I said nothing. "This all started because Celia wanted something I couldn't give her," I said calmly. "She's free to chase whatever she wants. I'm done chasing her." As I stood to leave, Celia suddenly collapsed at my feet, weeping, her head in my lap, apologizing profusely. Through sobs, she confessed everything. How Marcus had manipulated her, how a stranger had warned her about him, how she never wanted any of this, how she still loved me. "I don't want freedom," she cried. "I want you." The therapist awkwardly ended the session, urging us to continue elsewhere. As we walked out, Celia tossed her ruined blouse into the air, laughing wildly. "What if I just walked around like this forever?" she teased. I looked at her, still broken, still unpredictable, and answered softly, "As long as I have your love." She grinned. "Maybe not around my parents." I sighed, unsure whether this was a new beginning, or just another loop on the roller coaster.